You. How long do you intend to sleep? Your body is awake. Your eyes must open now, and you must find the strength to stand upon those legs of yours. Like so much rain, a pool of blood has fallen to the ground. As spears and arrows pierce the earth, it weeps. And even now, it weeps. In order to survive, they kill. And so the people of this world are lost in an abyss of suffering. They weep as well. The only one who truly knows the nature of such things is I. Or rather, you.
Excuse me? Are you saying you have forgotten who I am? How dare you! Get on your feet. Right now. I'll coddle you no more. You are just like a child, always needing me to hold your hand.
Hey, are you awake? We're in a village at the base of the monastery. What are you doing in a place like this? I honestly didn't expect to find someone floating away down the river.
Garreg Mach is upstream of here, but that place was abandoned.
Huh? You don't know? The Church of Saros isn't there anymore. Though, there have been some folks still living there in the 5 years since... well, you know. Anyway, I've heard some thieves have been spotted around those parts these days. Are you feeling alright? You didn't hit your head or anything, did you? It's the ethereal moon of the year 1185. It's been nearly 5 years since the monastery fell. Tomorrow was supposed to be the Millennium Festival, but who's got time to think about things like that? Yeah, that's what I said. But with the war and the Archbishop still missing it all, I doubt there's a soul to be found who has enough blessings worth counting. Hey, slow down, will ya? Where do you think you're going? Are you crazy? I told you. They say thieves are running amok up there. And there's plenty of other dangers, too.
I heard a rumor that Imperial troops went up there to investigate and got slaughtered. Every last one.
Come on, I promise I won't say you're a coward. Just forget about going anywhere near the monastery. You just remember I tried to stop you. Got it? It's not on my conscience if you wind up dead. Students? You really are crazy, aren't you? There aren't any kids anywhere near that place anymore. Unbelievable.
I should have known that one day you would be haunting me as well. You. What must I do to be rid of you? I will kill that woman, I swear it! Do not look upon me with scorn in your eyes. You... It can't be. You're alive? If that is the case, that can only mean you are another Imperial spy. Did you come here to kill me? Answer the question. Am I? I have been dead, more or less. What do you hope to gain asking me that? There are more important matters at hand. Do you not smell them? Filthy rats everywhere. And traces of those who were here long ago. And thieves crawling from the woodwork, attracted by the promise of treasure. Since the monastery fell, order in this area fell right along with it. You must have seen the state of the town near Garrick Mach on your way here. Vile thieves run rampant. They pillage and loot to their heart's content. I must kill them. Every last one. It's time to hunt down their nest. I told you, I will kill them all. They must die. Someone must put a stop to this cycle of the strong trampling the weak. Or do you condone their actions? Do you believe that the pillaging and slaughtering those rats live for is justified? It is reprehensible, and they must be put down. I intend to give them a taste of the pain they have inflicted on others. Even if it means becoming a rat myself. I swore to at least do that much. I will not let them down. It doesn't matter. All that matters is killing those who deserve to die.
Good work. I should have known to check the monastery. Let's move quickly.
Yes, sir!
Dimitri, I'm on my way.
Your Highness! Professor! I'm so glad you're both safe.
Why are you here?
Did you forget? We all made a promise on this very day 5 years ago.
Dimitri, weren't you the one who asked that we all meet up here?
Don't be silly. Of course you remember our promise. That's why you and the professor are here, right?
Your Highness, I have been following news of your whereabouts for a while now. I am relieved to have finally found you.
Do not call me that. I am not a prince, but a walking corpse.
That is what we all believed, but it is not so. I can see with my own eyes that you are alive, Your Highness. But the jail cells in Ferdiad are as solid as they come. How did you manage to...
do? He's dead. He died in my place.
I see. We will be sure to honor his loyalty, Your Highness. As for the state of the kingdom, the lords from the western regions have declared their fealty to the Empire, starting with House Rowe. Cornelia's band of traitors now refers to kingdom territory as the Fargus Dukedom. They've made Ferdiad their stronghold as they continue to invade the eastern region. She is a mage who has served the royal family for more than 20 years. There is much to tell you. I will explain everything in time.
Well, it's not like all of the kingdom's lords have sided with the Empire. There are plenty of houses, like mine and Felix's, that remain stubbornly opposed.
Your Highness, please allow us to take up arms at your side once more. What we need more than anything isn't soldiers, money, or supplies. We need the legitimate heir of Fargus to overthrow the Empire and reclaim the kingdom. Such is your duty. It is yours alone to bear, and well worth fighting for. Only you can gather our troops and lead us back into the light.
I see. So, you all agree that we must fight back. And you see how that woman, how the Empire cannot be forgiven. That we must wipe them all out until not a single one of them remains.
Wipe them all out? I don't think any of us here are suggesting anything that extreme.
Professor, there is something I would like to ask you. Please, join me inside the monastery. To think you survived under all that rubble for the past 5 years. I suppose stranger things have happened, odd as that is to admit. There is still much I would like to ask you, but I think that's enough for now. On that day 5 years ago, during the battle with the Imperial Army, Lady Rhea went missing. Since then, the Knights of Seiros have continued searching for her. And for you, I hear they have yet to find any promising leads. As the Empire has yet to release a statement, it's hard to imagine that she has perished. And yet... No, never mind. Once news of your survival gets out, everyone will flock back to the monastery. After that battle, a certain incident took place in Ferdiad. Rufus, who was serving as King Regent, was murdered. I was once a knight in service of the royal family. I resigned from the Knights of Seiros and returned to serve the kingdom. However... This is madness. You truly claim that His Highness is the one who killed Rufus?
Oh, but it's true. The only one who could slip past the bodyguards and kill so efficiently is the young prince. You can't deny it.
Rufus is Prince Dimitri's uncle. His Highness is incapable of such an atrocious crime as murdering his own blood.
Ah, but they were never very close, were they? It's a well-known fact among former retainers. There are even rumors that Rufus was originally involved in the tragedy of Dusker. Perhaps His Highness believed those rumors and murdered Rufus in a fit of rage. But I'm afraid none of that matters now.
Cornelia, do not tell me that you...
The decision has been made. His Highness will pay for his crime with his head. His sentence will be carried out the day after tomorrow. On that day, the royal bloodline will come to an end. All you have left to do is sit back and watch, you senile old fool. Watch as the kingdom you love falls to ashes.
It was soon after announced that his sentence had been carried out. With His Highness's death, the royal bloodline of House Blythed was erased from this world. True to her word, all we could do was watch as she tore the kingdom apart before our eyes. Since the execution and the prince's corpse were concealed from the public, there have always been those who believed His Highness was still alive. As for myself, I only began to hope 3 years ago, when I chanced upon some compelling rumors. An Imperial platoon attacked without warning. Incident after incident of Imperial generals being slaughtered in Kingdom territory. It is said that each died in such a brutal, gruesome way that it is hard to imagine they were killed by human hands. I followed the rumors to location after location. Eventually, I had seen enough. I knew the rumors were true. Finally, after a half-decade of torment, it happened. I found him. I fear his deep hatred and the weight of his solitude have consumed him for far too long. We must bring him back from the edge on which he stands. To that end, I must speak with His Highness. I imagine it will not be a quick or easy conversation. I pray that he is of a mind to speak of such things. I am certain that my words will... never mind. What must be done, must be done. I would wager that you are weary after the day's events. Perhaps you should take this opportunity to get some rest.
You? So you were alive after all.
Professor, it is so good to see you again. My brother and I were worried about you.
Oh, thank the goddess. I couldn't bear the thought of letting Gerald down by not finding you.
Guess you lucked out. We've been looking everywhere for you, but I see Lady Rhea isn't with you. Damn.
Everyone was real worried about you, Professor.
Gilbert has told us everything. From here on, our strength is yours as well.
Does my heart well to see that all of you are safe. Now that we have all gathered, let's discuss our next course of action.
We have two objectives: to overthrow the Empire and to rescue Rhea. I have no objection to joining forces with you. After all, our interests are aligned.
Nothing could be more reassuring than securing the cooperation of the Knights of Seiros.
The Archbishop entrusted all of her affairs to you. From now on, I shall comply with your wishes.
We'll make Garreg Mach our base, and prepare to make our stand against the Empire. There is a fair amount of damage, but we will at least have shelter from the wind and rain.
Surely those Imperial jerks have this place staked out, right? It's a highly strategic location.
While it may be a strategic location, it's too far from the front lines to be worthy of notice at the moment. This area is inconvenient as far as transport time is concerned, so it's of little importance to their war effort.
Even so, nothing slips past the Emperor. It is safe to assume she at least has this place under surveillance.
Professor, what do you think about making this place our base? Fortunately, there are still villages and hamlets nearby, and though I wouldn't call them abundant, we have war funds as well. What do you think, Your Highness?
Do as you please.
Hey, don't act like this doesn't concern you. We finally reunited after all this time. We've got to work together.
She's right. In fact, why don't we all join forces and clean this place up a bit?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. And it'll give us time to reminisce about all the good old days at the Academy. I can't wait.
How carefree of you.
It may sound trivial, but, well, I think it's a good idea.
I understand feeling impatient, Your Highness, but patience is key at a time like this. If we fix up our base, it will improve morale, which will be sorely needed as we...
Fools. Stay out of this.
Please, calm yourself, Your Highness. We are not your enemies.
My enemies say the same.
What happened to him? It's like he's a completely different person.
I feel so bad for him. Would it help if I brewed him a nice pot of tea?
I cannot claim to understand how he feels. However, the way he's behaving, it's as though he's being haunted by some unseen force. As am I.
You're wrong. It's not like that, Glenn. I swear it. Any love I once had for my stepsister has been tossed aside. Only hatred remains. If I could tear that woman to shreds right this very moment, I would! I don't care if she's the Emperor. It's no different than killing anyone else. So I beg you, all of you, do not worry about my resolve. Please, Father, and you too, Stepmother, do not gaze at me with that look in your eyes. I will bring you her head soon, and when I do, you may finally rest in peace. I know it. Yes, I know it. What do you want? I see. We should make haste and prepare to move out at once. I must kill her as soon as possible. I don't have time to leisurely set up camp like the rest of you fools.
Pardon the interruption. We must prepare a counterattack at once. The Imperial Army has caught wind of our position. It would seem they were patrolling this place after all.
The Imperial Army, is it? Well, well.
Your Highness, I ask that you please refrain from reckless behavior in battle.
It would seem the report that the Knights of Syros have returned was accurate. This is going to take some effort.
Brother, I heard a rumor that there is a vicious murderer among our enemies.
Well, who knows if there's any truth to it? Though I admit we have lost some soldiers recently. Whether he's among them or not, taking on the Knights of Syros is extremely dangerous. You're not ready for the front lines, Fleisch. Stay in the back and support us from there. Understood?
No! I want to stay with you. I have to...
I need you to understand, Fleisch. I will come back, I promise.
Fine. I trust you, brother. Please, be safe.
All units, prepare to attack! I have family waiting for me. Please, I can't die here. A beast of your depravity prattling on about family? How amusing. As though you could understand such a thing as love? You heartless monster! You are a monster too, General. You have just yet to realize it. A monster who thinks he's a man. Despicable. As a general, you must have killed countless souls without a shred of mercy. Do you still remember the sound of them begging, just as you're begging now? Or now that your life is at its end, will you hold to the lie that your hands are not stained red with blood? This is war. I did what I had to for the Empire, for the people, for my family. So, you are piling up corpses for the people and your family. And I am doing the same for the salvation of the dead. After all is said and done, we are both murderers, both stained, both monsters. You're wrong. Am I? I can smell the rotting flesh upon your hands even now, General. Enough! That's enough! I won't kill you right away, my fellow monster. Unless you object to watching your friends die. One by one. If so, I will do you the service of removing your eyes first, so that... Please! Please, forgive me. What is the meaning of this? A grievous error, Professor. If you do not approve of what I have become, then kill me. If you insist that you cannot, then I will continue to use you and your friends until the flesh falls from your bones.
We managed to repel the Imperial Army, but we remain divided on our next course of action. I anticipate a second and third wave of attack. With our current forces, we'll have our hands full just defending.
It's a miracle we managed to repel the Imperial Army with the few units and resources we do have.
We should probably contact Rodrigue right away to request backup.
Rodrigue is in a difficult position, as he has suffered invasions by the Dukedom. But there are troops who share in our cause, gathering in the heart of Fraldarius territory. If we can arrange for them to join us, our forces will grow considerably.
Fraldarius. So, Rodrigue is still alive, is he? So you did.
I wonder what my old man will say when he sees you now. That spectacle alone will be worth the trip.
I've already sent word with our fastest messenger, informing Rodrigue that His Highness is alive. But we would do well to send another, in case anything happens to the first. With the current state of things, we'll be completely helpless without his support. Your Highness, may I ask what your next plan of attack is? Should we dispatch our troops to the Kingdom capital, or to the Imperial capital?
We will take the Imperial capital. There, I will kill her. We end the war and chase away the lingering regrets of the dead. Nothing could be more to the point.
That may be true, but don't forget that your people need our help right now.
Your Highness, I hate them too. But the citizens of Ferdiad have long awaited your return.
Just give it up already. Wasting time thinking about stuff like that will only dull your blade.
Defeating Edelgard would put an end to the war. That would benefit the kingdom as well.
We still need to look for Lady Rhea, so I agree that we should get to Enbar as fast as possible.
Professor, whatever you decide, we shall follow.
You were entrusted with leading the church. One would think the logical step is to march to Enbar. If Lady Rhea is being held prisoner in the Empire, we don't have time to waste taking back Ferdiad. Can you deny it?
Either way, we are in need of numbers. It is essential that we secure backup.
You made it.
We received a reply from my father. You should read it too.
Gilbert has filled me in on the details. He tells me you are in immediate need of additional troops. I would like to say that I will gather reinforcements and send them to the monastery at once. However, I cannot afford to leave the front lines for that long. Would you be willing to meet us south of Fraldaria's territory in Aelel, the Valley of Torment? Aelel is halfway between the monastery and our territory. There, I will deliver the soldiers you require.
Aelel lies on the border between Kingdom territory and Alliance territory. Humans dare not approach that place.
He's right. In Aelel, we can meet up with them without our enemy ever finding out.
Once my old man delivers his soldiers to us, then our war against the Empire can finally begin.
The path ahead will be a difficult one, Your Highness. Deadly, in all likelihood.
True. But what's the point in wavering now? Father, stepmother, Glenn, and even Dedu. I am certain this will bring them great joy. I know if I can just offer them Edelgard's head. I just know it.
Aelel, the Valley of Torment.
This valley isn't a place I'd care to return to.
After the chilliness of Fargus, I can't seem to adjust to this extreme heat.
Historically, there have been battles whose outcomes were determined in part by the climate. You can't argue that this heat isn't a factor.
In conditions like these, who knows what will become of our morale.
Professor, be honest. How are you holding up? Monks once used this area as an ascetic training ground because of the intense environment. They say Aelel was born of the goddess's rage. If you believe the legends, this valley is evidence of the goddess's judgment, passed on humanity for its corruption. The forest that once covered the surrounding area was burnt to ash by a pillar of light that descended from the heavens. That legend fueled belief in a place of torment between our world and the next, where one's sins are purified in the cleansing flames.
Nonsense. Sins are not so easily washed away.
Indeed, and there are no accounts of such a place in Scripture. Yet those who cannot face their own sins have no choice but to cling to the idea.
I just don't think I can take this heat anymore. I think I'm starting to see things. Near those mountains over there. Is it just me? Or is there a group of people gathered there?
No. It would seem you are not hallucinating after all. Are those Rodriguez soldiers? No. But their banner is that of... No! It can't be.
That is House Rose banner. They curried favor with that witch and sold out Fargus.
We messed up. There must have been a spy among us. Will you have us meet them in battle, or wait for Rodrigue to arrive?
There is only one option. How kind of them to save us the trouble of killing them later. I will not repeat myself. That banner belongs to the Grey Lion. It's a waste of breath to exchange words with one such as him.
His Highness is correct. He is not an opponent whom we can expect to negotiate with. Everyone, prepare for the attack!
It's been too long, Your Highness. But try to temper your joy, will you? This is a war, after all.
To say such a thing at a time like this, you have not changed one bit.
Don't let looks deceive you. I've had a rough go of it ever since I crossed blades with those traitors in Ferdiad. When I heard you'd been executed, I rushed there as fast as I could, blind with fury. When I got there, I was fed some garbage about not being able to see your body. The next thing I knew, I was gripping my blade and... Gilbert, you have done well to locate His Highness. I am truly grateful. And you, I have you to thank as well. Well, we are in your debt. I will repay you for this someday, I swear it. And you, Felix, you have also done well to bring His Highness here.
Tell us all you know, Rodrigue.
I'm afraid there's not much to tell. You are aware that the western region of the kingdom was taken by the Empire, correct?
Yes, so I have heard. They are now calling it the Fargus Dukedom, or some nonsense.
If you know that much, then the rest won't take long. Enemy or not, it's undeniable that Cornelia's plan was nothing short of genius. After seizing power, she invited the Imperial Army to Ferdiad. There she reorganized her troops, and then sent soldiers to hunt me down. Because of that, we were forced to act defensively, and now we're being forced into a difficult battle. She's been controlling the situation all along.
So that's been the witch's plan from the start. I should have killed her ages ago.
Your Highness, Ferdiad is in a terrible state right now. The tyranny is unbearable, and so the rebellions are endless. Refugees starve to death in the streets. If I may speak freely, Your Highness, we should change course for Ferdiad and take down those traitors before we embark to Enbar.
There's no time for that. We must annihilate Enbar before all else.
Think this through. I understand wanting to destroy the Empire and the Emperor. I want that so much it hurts. But which is more important, the dead or the living?
Silence!
No, Dimitri. You will hear me out.
Are you asking me? Asking the dead to forgive that woman?
No, I would not ask that of you. What I am asking is that you allow us to prioritize the Kingdom capital over the Imperial capital for now. As Lambert's close and trusted friend, I am confident that he would have advised the same.
Do not dare to put words in the mouths of the dead. They are your words alone, even if you borrow their lips. Until I offer up that woman's head, Father will remain a slave to his lingering regret and hatred. Even now, he suffers. It is ceaseless. As we waste time with idle chatter, his suffering continues.
You are my king. Our king. Wherever you lead, we will follow. But Your Highness, there are those who take up their sword in the name of revenge, and yet along the way, lose the strength and composure to follow through. You would do well to bear that in mind. Ah, I nearly forgot. Take this, Your Highness. The time has come for it to be wielded by its true master.
Eretvar. The hero's relic once wielded by my father.
The very same. I managed to steal it back from one of Cornelia's underlings in Ferdiad.
Understated as ever, Father. It must have been a true struggle to get it back.
I am grateful, my friend.
Gilbert, Professor, may I request something of you? I wish to fight at your side.
Senile already, old man? Who will protect our territory?
I expected it would come to this, so I left those matters to my younger brother. He has my complete faith. I must keep my promise to our fallen king, to my dear friend. A very old one. I swore it nearly 10 years ago. Now then, Your Highness, let's destroy the Empire together. My men and I will spare no effort. I pray that you are right, and that this will save the kingdom. Our orders are to capture Enbar by striking the enemy's stronghold directly. How familiar are you with the geography of Fodlan? Then you must be aware that the kingdom and the Empire are separated by the impassable Ogma Mountains, right? Legend has it that Saint Seros once crossed over those mountains to fight against the Fell King Nemesis. But don't fool yourself. Leading a large army over such steep mountains would be near impossible.
In order to infiltrate the Empire, we have no choice but to go around the mountains, either to the east or to the west.
Yes, I agree. The Alliance is currently split in two. Those who stand with the Empire and those who are against it. Leading the Imperial faction is House Gloucester, while House Regan leads those who oppose. We should take advantage of their internal conflict and proceed east along the mountains until we reach the Great Bridge of Myrden in Alliance territory.
The Aramid River divides Alliance and Empire territory. There are many large bridges that cross it. However, the Great Bridge of Myrden is by far the largest, and it is also closest to the monastery. I believe you crossed that bridge 5 years ago on your journey to the Battle of the Eagle and Lion.
I'm afraid we have no other option. This is our only hope. Perhaps our next move should be to contact House Regan and request their cooperation. Claude of House Regan is the leader of the Alliance and is firmly against the Empire. They are the enemy of our enemy. In other words, hopefully, a friend.
Are you suggesting that we ask House Regan to engage the Gloucester soldiers?
I am. If we take the bridge, then House Gloucester will no longer be able to receive support from the Empire. There's no way a man as wise as Claude would refuse our request.
And once we manage to capture the Great Bridge and gain a foothold into the Empire,
then we cross Gronder Field and head south toward Enbar.
But if we get attacked from both sides, we'll have to fight people from the Alliance, won't we?
Speaking of House Gloucester, I wonder how Lawrence is holding up. If we meet him again, it will probably be as enemies. To be honest, I'd rather avoid seeing him altogether.
If you do not wish to kill familiar faces, do not tarry over the corpses of the dead.
Good advice.
Prepare yourselves. It is time to steel your souls for the task at hand.
even though it's in ruins, in some strange way, this monastery never truly changes, does it? I studied at the Officers' Academy when I was young. Those memories come rushing back whenever I return. What are you doing here at this hour anyway? It's the same for me. Perhaps you'll allow me to join you. Much appreciated. I keep recalling my eldest son. He was quite gifted. In fact, he was appointed a knight at the age of 15. I still vividly remember the day he was granted a sword from His Majesty. Dead. He was killed 9 years ago in Dusker. All that returned of him that day were his sword and his armor. No matter how much you grieve, the dead will never return. No magic in the world can bring them back. That's why their memory clings to the living like a curse. The more they were loved, the tighter their hold, and the more suffering they cause. I fear I am not a strong enough man to scold His Highness for his foolishness. Since this war began, we've seen countless generals, soldiers, and citizens die. It never gets easier. Professor, I entrust the young prince and the future of Fargus to you. You are a brave one, aren't you? One worthy of leading the Church of Seros, I dare say. You should know that I have no intention of insisting that you take back Ferdiad. All I ask is that you continue to rein in Dimitri's manic desire for revenge. Now then, we have received House Regan's consent. All that's left is for us to depart. If we make it through Gloucester territory and across the Great Bridge of Myrden, we'll be in Empire territory. You are not afraid, are you? Yes, such is war. I'm glad you were the one to lead the Blue Lion House, Professor. I mean that.
Our scout has returned. As expected, there are quite a few Imperial soldiers stationed there.
I see. So the enemy has prepared for our arrival. It matters not. I will kill them all, whether they are 1 or 100. What would you do if you saw the people who stole everything from you? If you saw them right before your eyes, living carefree lives and feeling no guilt, would you feel nothing? Do nothing? 5 years ago, did you not deem the woman who killed Gerald to be unforgivable? I am most certain that you did. You couldn't let her get away with her crime, so you took up your sword in pursuit. Precisely my point. We're the same, you and I.
You're wasting your time. There's nothing to be gained from exchanging words with a boar that has lost its mind.
Felix?
This is war. Every last one of us has lost someone we care for. But we all choose to suppress our anger and grief and go right on living. Do you know why? Revenge can't bring the dead back to life. Unfortunately, such a thing isn't possible. Hanging on to your anger like the boar here is futile.
Tell me, Felix. If the dead are beyond reach, is it not also pointless to mourn, or even bury those who are lost?
That mind of yours. I'm done here. Remember, Professor, it's not compassion for this fool that has brought our armies so far. There are those of us who despise the Empire, and those who side with the Church. If we keep running down this path, it's only a matter of time before the ground beneath us collapses.
That's enough, Felix.
You're a damned fool, old man.
The soldiers are ready to march on your command.
Then let's move out at once. Every moment counts.
Understood. Let's show those Empire dastards the power of the Knights of Fargus.
To do? Why? How are you here? You died 5 years ago.
I was saved by my brothers, men of Duscur.
Those people you were with, they were of Duscur? And they saved you?
Your Highness, I asked that you fulfill your long-held desire, did I not? Allow me to once again act as your sword and shield. Please, let me witness your triumph. I want to behold the moment your wish is finally granted.
To do? Of course. And in exchange, I ask that you swear something to me here and now. Do not ever throw your life away again. Understood?
Your Highness. Understood.
Idiots. Embracing death for the sake of that woman. Truly foolish. I don't know. They were just beasts with human faces. I had no choice but to kill them, and so I did. That is all there is to it.
It's about time you two returned. We must discuss our next course of action.
Please, I need to join you no matter the cost.
I'm sorry, but my hands are tied.
By the goddess, what's with all the commotion? What is this girl doing here? This is an army, not an orphanage.
I believe she's from a nearby village. She keeps insisting that she needs to join our ranks.
And you thought we could use a child on the front lines? Hurry up and take her back to her parents.
My family is gone. I don't have anywhere else to go. Please, I can use magic and I can fight. I can cook, do laundry, anything.
I'm sure there are plenty of more suitable places to find work. Why are you so fixated on this army, young lady?
I need to get revenge. I must strike down the one who murdered my big brother.
Your Highness, what should we do?
Let her do as she pleases.
Thank you very much.
We have received a report from our spy. It would seem the Empire is gathering troops at Fort Merceus. This is undoubtedly in response to us taking the Great Bridge of Myrden. Their numbers are more than double ours. We believe that the Emperor herself may be leading them. If House Regan can reconcile with House Gloucester sooner than later, then Claude can proceed with his plan to rally the Alliance Lords, gather troops, and invade Empire territory.
At this rate, 3 military forces will be clashing at Gronder Field.
If you wish to indulge in nostalgia, do it elsewhere.
I'm afraid the difference in military strength is far from negligible. While we are elite soldiers, I am still uneasy about this.
If possible, I'd like to request reinforcements right away. If we can rely on any of the major kingdom houses for military support, it would be House Karen, I'd wager. House Karen has yet to declare fealty to the Empire.
It is also my home. I will make the request to my father. With things as they are, I don't think he can refuse. The Church has long protected me. I am certain that any request from the Church will be answered to the utmost of their ability.
Very well. We're counting on you, Catherine.
I suppose that is all we can do for now.
So it would seem. Though if there are any other avenues worth exploring, I would suggest...
Ah, good point. We have no reason to engage the Alliance directly.
Even if we do receive Count Karen's aid, we still won't have the troops we need to face the Empire.
But if we join forces with the Alliance, then our numbers will rival the Empire's. Agreed. It's about the only thing we can do. For now, let's send a messenger and try to figure out what the Alliance hopes to achieve.
It's hard to believe this decisive battle will take place at Gronder Field. I imagine that place is full of memories for all of you.
We won the Battle of the Eagle and Lion back in the day. It seems like a lifetime ago.
I can't help but remember, even though I wish I didn't.
Our feast after the battle. I remember it well. We all had so much fun together.
No! Please, stop it. I had finally put all of that out of my mind. This isn't right. They're our friends. We used to study together. We shouldn't be fighting them.
Why not march up to Her Majesty in a reminder of that? Oh, that's right, because you want to live to see tomorrow.
No matter who the enemy is, I will fight for His Highness.
Tell me, Boar Prince, do we stand a chance?
Who knows?
If we lose, we'll have died for you. I hope you know that.
That's enough, Felix. We must focus on the battle ahead.
Make your peace before we depart. It's kill or be killed out there. We will cross blades with the Empire, but it's possible we will also have to strike down the Alliance.
Your Highness, do you feel no hesitation about killing your former friends?
If they must die, I will kill them. Nothing could be simpler.
There's quite a bit of fog settling in. We won't be able to advance our troops very far in this.
We won't be able to move at all until the fog lifts. No matter which path we take, we'll have to be patient and wait it out. Gilbert? No? Gustav. I would like to take this opportunity to speak with you about something. It's about the tragedy of Duscur. There's something about it I just can't wrap my head around.
I'm listening.
I lost a son in Duscur that day. I exhausted every last resource I had to investigate what took place there. I was startled to find that there wasn't a single shred of evidence to suggest that Lady Patricia's carriage had been attacked.
Go on.
Apart from His Highness, whose injuries left him on the verge of death, everyone else present at the time was slaughtered. Of all the victims, only the corpse of Lady Patricia, His Majesty's second wife, was never found. Isn't that right?
Surely that means she was abducted. There was no evidence of an attack, suggesting they threatened her, but did not kill her.
But what reason would they have to take her? Would it not have been better to kill her?
Perhaps she had some value as a diplomatic pawn.
Nonsense. In the many years since that day, has Lady Patricia ever been used thus?
No, not as far as I know. Then perhaps she was used for some political gain within the Empire.
Now that her daughter is the Emperor, what reason would she have to keep hiding her existence?
It is possible she passed away after returning to the Empire.
Gustav, I know this is hard for you to hear, but just consider what it would mean if Lady Patricia was involved with that incident.
Silence, Rodrigue. I will not allow you to tarnish her memory like that.
I do not mean to imply that she arranged His Majesty's murder or anything of the like. But Gustav, I cannot shake the feeling that the tragedy was part of a much larger conspiracy. There is more to it than we know. That much is certain.
Rodrigue! Gilbert! Please hurry!
To kill like this is inhuman.
This is one of the knights we dispatched to the leader of the Alliance. Tell me everything you know.
Sir, a soldier on patrol came across this night a short while ago, in a rocky area not far from here. Someone from the Alliance must have disposed of the body there.
Is this how the Alliance chose to inform us that they have no intention of joining our cause?
Yes. I would not hesitate to believe them capable of this.
Whatever the truth is, the other knights we dispatched are in serious danger. It's best to assume that joining with the Alliance is out of the question now.
Even with Count Karen's support, this makes our situation grim.
I never expected the Alliance to help us. Anyone who stands in my way will be crushed beneath my feet.
It is time, dear brother.
Know that I will tear your heads from your shoulders. The dead must have their tribute.
As big class reunions go, this one's gotta be the worst in history.
Years ago, we fought here as classmates. But not today.
Kill every last one of them!
And so we fight on.
Have I caught you off guard, Your Highness? Aww, does it hurt? I bet it hurts real bad, doesn't it? But it's nothing compared to what my brother felt. You will never be forgiven, you know. I will never forgive you.
You must be...
You filthy monster. It's time to die!
Dimitri! Professor! Do it now!
Brother, help me.
Rodrigue!
Your Highness, are you safe? Please tell me it wasn't in vain.
His punishment, it was mine to bear.
There are no sins or punishments on the battlefield.
No, don't die. Please don't die. Father, stepmother, Glenn, they all died and left me behind. Rodrigue, are you to join the ghosts who shadow my every move? This is my fault. I'm the one who killed you, as surely as though I had wielded the blade.
Your Highness, you have one thing terribly wrong. None of them, none of us, died for you. I'm dying for what I believe in, just as they did. Your life is your own. It belongs to no other, living or dead. Live for what you believe in. Dimitri, my boy, you really do look just like His Majesty. What are you saying, Lambert?
I am heading to Dusker, and before you start, nothing you could say would change my mind. You worry too much, my friend. So far, relations with Dusker have been going smoothly, wouldn't you say? You, of all people, should appreciate how critical these negotiations are.
Of course I do, but for the king himself to make the journey, you must admit that it's dangerous. And His Highness is still so young. If the worst should happen...
Even if the worst should happen, he would be okay. He's a smart boy, Rodrigue. Even if he should lose his father, I have no doubt that he will grow to be a good and respectable man.
Lambert.
However, if he ever starts down the wrong path, and I am not here to set him straight, I am trusting you to do so in my stead, old friend. Promise me.
Lambert, my promise.
What do you want? It doesn't concern you. Get out of my way. No. Silence! You have no idea what you're talking about. Death is the end. No matter how much lingering regret a person has, after death, they are powerless. They cannot even wish for revenge, much less seek it out. Hatred, regret, those burdens fall on the shoulders of those who are left behind. And so I must continue down this path. I already told you as much. It is far too late to stop. Do not waste your breath with some nonsense about how I should move on with my life for their sake. That is merely the logic of the living. It's meaningless. Those who died with lingering regret, they will not loose their hold on me so easily. But you seem to have all the answers. So tell me, Professor. Please tell me. How do I silence their desperate pleas? How do I save them? Ever since that day 9 years ago, I have lived only to avenge the fallen. Even my time at the Officers' Academy was also that I could secure my revenge and clear away the regret of the dead. It was the only thing that kept me alive. My only reason to keep moving forward. But then who or what should I live for? What I believe in. Rodrigue said the same thing. But is it possible? I am a murderous monster. My hands are stained red. Could one such as I truly hope for such a life? As the sole survivor of that day, do I have the right to live for myself? Your hands are so warm. Have they always been?
Our victory at Gronder was certainly a turning point for us. However, Rodrigue's death has been difficult to bear. We've lost considerable military strength and resources.
Unfortunately, with things as they are now, I don't think House Gautier has any resources to spare.
I'm sorry. I really wish we could help. If only House Galatea had anything to give.
If we split up the soldiers currently defending the monastery, we should have sufficient numbers to invade the Empire. But even then...
Your Highness, you should be resting. Your wounds are still healing.
I am well, I assure you. More importantly, may I have a moment of your time? Thank you. I wish to apologize to all of you. I have led you down this dark path with me, and have caused so much suffering along the way. I cannot tell you how sorry I am for my behavior. There is no apology I could offer that would be sufficient.
And how do you intend to make up for my father's death?
Felix, I realize words alone are not enough to repent, but I fear they are all I have.
More empty words.
I know that no amount of regret can ever bring back the lives we have lost. I know that well. It is like patching up a tear with a different material. Things can never be as they were. The best I can hope for is to make things whole again. I wish to do the right thing from now on. That is why I have made a decision. I intend to take back the kingdom capital. I wish to save our people. Those who I turned my back on for far too long. To follow my heart and do the right thing. That is the only way I can atone for my sins.
Your Highness. If we can win back Ferdiad, it will give us the advantage in our war against the Empire. As one who has served the royal family for ages, know that your words bring me great joy and pride. That said, I must point out that if we make for Ferdiad, the Emperor's head will slip further out of reach. Can you live with that?
I still hold hatred in my heart for her, and for the ones responsible for the tragedy. That I will carry with me until death. But my life is my own. It belongs to no one else, and it is high time that I started living for what I believe in. I will no longer allow the voices of the dead to bind me. This is something that I must do. No. Something that I am choosing to do. I will accomplish my aim, even if it means risking my life to do so.
Understood, Your Highness. So, any objections?
You are correct. We cannot afford to die in vain by recklessly challenging the Empire.
I'm worried about Lady Rhea. But if this is the choice you've made, I support it.
I am at your command, Your Highness. I will follow you anywhere.
My sword is at your service, Your Highness.
I'll help too. The people in Ferdiad need us.
Then it is decided. It seems this war council has much to discuss. Our next stop is Ferdiad, the kingdom capital, for the future of Fargus.
Ferdiad. It has been a lifetime since I was here last. 5 years ago, in fact. On the day before my execution, when Dedu helped me escape from prison, I killed soldiers from my homeland, stole weapons from their corpses, and made my escape soaked in their blood. To think this is how I would return to the city of my birth after all that has happened. Yes. Rodrigue gave his life to show me the way back to this path. You have risked much as well. I am glad to have you at my side. From the bottom of my heart, I am forever grateful. Let's win this, Professor. Let's all make it out alive and celebrate our victory.
Your Highness, the path to the castle has been cleared. We are making preparations to advance. Say the word, and we march.
Yes. Let us begin. Everyone, listen well. This battle is for all that the Empire stole from us. It is a fight to reclaim the days of peace we once enjoyed. I give you but 2 commands. Stay alive and follow your heart. That is all I ask. The gates to the kingdom capital are open. Join me. It is time to take back our home!
I thought I would see you again, little princeling. So stubborn. It must run in your family.
Cornelia, the city is overrun with insurrection. It seems to be in response to our enemy's arrival. If we do nothing, our army may suffer damages. We should suppress the citizens immediately.
The people are rebelling? Let them do as they please. Or are you saying you have enough soldiers to divide our forces? Quite bold of you, with our enemy's most elite soldiers at our doorstep.
But what are you suggesting?
The city is going to be a battlefield anyway. Kill all who oppose us, even if they are members of the general populace. Go on now. You are needed out there.
As you wish. May we find fortune in the battle to come.
Huh. What an inconvenience the little princeling has turned out to be. And bringing that troublesome person along with him. It would have been much better if he and his sweet little stepsister had been good little children and just killed each other.
Try as that woman might to spout nonsense to her very last, nothing could change the fact that she was an enemy of the kingdom. She sold out Fargus to the Empire, forcing our people to suffer their tyranny. But all that ends today. No more blood will be needlessly spilled. Now that Cornelia has fallen, we will exert pressure on the nobles who were aligned with her. Perhaps we may yet find a connection to the tragic incident in Duscur. Once we do that, we will finally be able to prove the innocence of its people.
Your Highness. I am certain that would make those of Duscur who lost their lives that day very happy. I am grateful, and I am proud to serve a man such as you.
Come, Your Highness. You still have some responsibilities that must be carried out. Your people have been patiently awaiting your return.
Do you mean... No. I can't bear to face them after all that I... Professor. Right you are, as ever. I am their king, after all. What is this?
As you can see, the people are rejoicing at the return of their king.
Even though I turned my back on them and fled the kingdom in disgrace.
Even so, the spectacle before you does not lie. We are a kingdom in need of a king, a hero to save the people from their long oppression. Your Highness, it is truly a blessing that you have returned.
Do I really have the right to stand here? Will they accept me as their king? Bloodstained as I am I fit to be king? Yes, you are right again, my friend. I am finally home again. Fargus, how I missed you. It may be spring, but the nights are quite chilly here in Ferdiad. Still, our celebratory feast shows no sign of stopping. Have you grown weary of the festivities? If memory serves, you were much the same at the ball all those years ago. I have just returned from visiting the graves of my loved ones. It had been a long while since I left Flowers. I was always terribly afraid of going near there, but I could not stay away forever. You have taught me something important, Professor. That too, of course. But what I'm referring to is far more valuable. How should I put this? Perhaps it is most accurate to say that you taught me how to live. If you and I had not reunited on that fateful day, I am certain I would have died a fruitless death on the battlefield. I would have foolishly challenged a horde of foes. And in doing so, needlessly sacrificed the lives of my friends and myself. But now I have returned to my rightful place. I struggle with what to say when I know well that words are not enough to express my gratitude. You saved me from the darkness and guided me back to the light. Thank you, Professor. With all that I am, I thank you. That is a hard question to answer. I still do not believe I deserve happiness. These hands of mine have taken so many lives. Nobles and commoners, adults and children. Perhaps a day will come when I have finally atoned for my sins. But such a day is not possible until after the war is over. But I digress. For tonight, our only focus should be to bask in our victory. After that, we must prepare for our battle with the Empire. To start, we must absorb the Kingdom Knights taken by the Dukedom into our own forces and reshuffle our troops. The Lords will need to help purge our territory of Imperial forces, and I will use my authority as king to gather forces from various regions. And we'll have to ask the merchants to lend us the funds we require. Oh, and we must request delivery of supplies at once. Just thinking about it all makes my head spin. There is much to do, but it is all critical work if we hope to stand a chance against the Empire. Knowing Edelgard, I doubt there is a path that leads to our coexistence. I believe we have spoken of this before. Everyone has something they simply cannot accept. As for Edelgard, I am certain she will never be able to accept the Church of Seiros. I believe that is why she seeks to destroy it. She is looking to revolutionize the world, in her mind, for the better. But even if she manages to birth a new world, it would be at the cost of... I wish to end this war through acceptance, not annihilation. Just as my people accepted me, I wish dearly to accept her. But I fear...
Your Highness, I finally found you.
I'm sorry for slipping away. Has something happened?
An express messenger just arrived from the leader of the Alliance. Please, return to the castle at once.
An express messenger? What in the world could Claude be after? I am on my way. Professor, please join me. We have received a request for aid from the Alliance. They are being invaded by the Empire. We have only just taken back Ferdiad, and yet I am already asking all of you to move out once more. Please accept my apologies for that.
That's no problem at all. More importantly, how is the Alliance faring?
House Regan has rallied the Alliance Lords. They are facing the enemy with all the strength they can muster. But we do not know how far that will get them. It seems the enemy's relentless attacks have forced them into a tough situation. Their defeated Gronder severely weakened the Alliance. I imagine the Empire now intends to destroy them before they can recover.
To think they'd watch us chase their soldiers out of the kingdom capital, then immediately go invade the Alliance. Their general is Lord Volkard von Arundel. He serves as regent to the Emperor. He has presumably taken command after the Emperor was wounded in Gronder.
He is known for his shrewdness and excels not only in domestic affairs, but tactics as well. He is not an opponent we should take lightly. Lord Arundel. I always suspected that Lord Arundel was behind the tragedy 9 years ago. The timing of his departure from the kingdom, the fact that he abruptly stopped making donations. Too many factors made him suspect. If Lord Arundel conspired with Cornelia, then what Kronya and the others said 5 years ago? Well, never mind that for now. The Alliance needs our help. What are your thoughts?
If we turn our back on the Alliance, and then Deirdre falls, it will undoubtedly make our situation difficult further down the road. We would have enemies in two directions, in the Alliance to the northeast, and in the Empire to the south.
That is true. In that scenario, we would not be able to safely march our soldiers to Enbar.
I am terribly worried about Lady Rhea, but I believe we must save the Alliance first.
Oh, maybe if we do this, the Alliance will help us out in return. We could ask them to help us attack the Empire. You know, a sneak attack or something.
Annie, when did you become so devious?
What do you think, Professor?
We must go to Deirdre. I will admit that there is something to be gained for us as well, for when we eventually march south. But far more importantly, they need us. We cannot turn our backs on them. We will arrange to head out at once. Prepare yourselves, everyone.
The citizens of Deirdre have all been evacuated and are now at sea. Are you sure about this? If Deirdre were to fall, those ships don't have enough resources for...
Deirdre won't fall. Have some faith in me, will you?
Oh, yes, sir.
Our line of defense has been broken. The Imperial Army will be here any moment.
Understood. You two join up with the troops in the city.
Yes, sir.
Judith, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be. It's been years since I last battled in the city streets.
Don't go messing up because your vision is weakened with age.
Take the defensive for now.
Yeah, I get it. You hang in there too, boy. Your wounds from Gronderfield haven't fully healed yet, have they?
No, but it's not like I can sit this one out. I have to make my daring escape after all. Yeah, for the last time, stop calling me boy. That's an official order from the leader of the Alliance.
Understood, Leader Man. I wonder if our little ray of hope will show up. We fought on opposite sides at Gronder, didn't we?
They'll come. You can count on it. If anyone can bring him back, it's Teach. Teach will talk and he'll listen. But more than anything, I've seen their skill and their abilities. I believe in them.
Claude, reinforcements are coming from the west. Their banner is that of the kingdom.
What did I tell you? They're here, and just in time.
It appears the Imperial Army has already marched into Deirdre and engaged the Alliance. It seems the Imperial advance has been stalled by guerrilla skirmishes. The Alliance forces are holding out, but they won't last much longer.
That must be Judith of House Daphne, who joined up with Claude's troops. To think Judith, a true hero, would find herself backed into a corner like this.
It is not so. The Alliance has only drawn the enemies so deeply into the city to allow us to attack them from behind. Brilliant. I believe so. He put his soldiers into position purely on the belief that we'd come. I can't believe Claude would risk everything on that belief. He has placed all of his hopes on us. Let's make sure we live up to his expectations, Professor. Here we go. Let's move! He's dead. There goes our chance to gain more information. And again, even if we had managed to capture him alive, judging by the way he was acting...
Teach is absolutely right. We should take this rare opportunity to let off some tension.
It's been a long time, Claude. I'm glad to see that you're safe.
Same. I haven't seen you since the nightmare that was Gronder. You really did come to help us. You must be a bunch of soft-hearted suckers, huh?
If you really felt that way, you would not have set up a defensive battle in the hopes that we would come. It worked out only because we made it in time. Were you really so confident that we would answer the call?
Of course. I knew you wouldn't hesitate to put yourself second and come running to our aid. You and I are cut from different cloth. I wouldn't make a move unless I could gain something from it. You've always been just the opposite. And of course, I've always been fond of taking dangerous risks. After all, I sent that express messenger before you had even recaptured the kingdom capital. If all went to plan, I knew you'd recapture it soon, and then respond to our request for aid. It was riskier than usual, I'll give you that. But it was the only card I had to play, so I took the gamble.
You crossed too many dangerous bridges for my liking.
I know. But that ends today.
What do you mean?
Here, take this. Use it however you see fit.
The legendary bow Fail Not. Isn't this the hero's relic of House Regan? Hold, Claude. This must be one of your jokes. You cannot truly intend to part with this.
It's not a joke. As of today, the Leicester Alliance is no more.
Just what are you planning, Claude?
If you're going to lead Fodlan, then the Alliance Lords will follow you. Back in the day, the Alliance split off from the Kingdom. I'm just putting us back together again. Oh, and I've already gained the support of the other Lords at the Round Table Conference, so you can stop looking at me like I'm crazy. All that's left for me is to officially step down as the leader of the Alliance. Hold your horses there, Teach. I'm leaving Fodlan. There are things I have to do, dreams I need to see to fruition. That's why I became the Alliance leader to begin with, actually. But it left me no time for what I was really after. You'd better not take on too many responsibilities yourselves, or else you'll end up in the same boat. And remember, both the living and the dead cling to us without any regard for our own lives. It's up to us to break free of that weight and follow the path that we believe in.
Claude.
Oops. I almost forgot the most important thing. If you're looking for Rhea, apparently she's being held captive in the Imperial capital. It doesn't sound like they intend to kill her, but there's no telling what they're planning.
You have my gratitude, Claude.
Gratitude? Thanks, but no thanks. As far as I'm concerned, we're even now. I don't know how many years will pass until then, but let's promise to meet again. And when we do, don't be too hard on me, Your Kingliness.
Well, Dimitri, are you finally going to tell us the damn truth?
What are you talking about?
Didn't Lord Arundel say something about you and Edelgard being family?
To claim that the king and the emperor are related. Could it be?
Ah, I suppose I never told you, though I do recall mentioning it briefly to the professor. Lord Arundel spoke the truth. My stepmother was Edelgard's birth mother. Political turmoil drove my stepmother out of the Empire. Father fell in love with her at first sight, and they married. I lost my birth mother before I was old enough to remember her. My stepmother filled that role for me, but she lost her life in Dusker 9 years ago, along with Father.
Hang on, I didn't even know she was your stepmother. Did my father know about this?
Yes, all those who were close to my father knew, including Rodrigue. But to speak openly about it would have caused a scandal. And so she was our secret. No one in the general public knew about her. Naturally, the fact that Edelgard and I are step-siblings was kept a secret as well.
I'm finally beginning to understand what you went through 5 years ago. I mean, Edelgard is the only family you have left, isn't she? To find out someone so precious to you is actually your most hated enemy. How heartbreaking.
But wait! You two were born and raised in 2 different territories, right? So you probably never met until you were both at the academy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the idea of fighting family is just about the worst thing ever. But hopefully the fact that she's a stepsister who you never really knew helps with the pain? I don't know. It was just a thought.
I am afraid that's not the case. Though it was only for a short time, Edelgard once called Ferdiad home. It was a long time ago, but she was a cherished friend of mine.
Wait! I remember now! She was that girl, wasn't she? The one you gave a dagger to! So, your little girlfriend was Edelgard.
Sylvain, if you have any more foolish things to say, please hold them for later.
I do have a few more in my sleeve, but they can wait. Go on, Your Highness. This is important for us to hear.
She may be a hated enemy now, but the Emperor is your old friend and your stepsister. Can you bring yourself to kill her?
I will kill her, if I must. But if there is any chance that the world she seeks to create could be a just one, then I would love to see a future in which I may reach out my hand for her and have her reach back. That said, I have no intention of letting my personal feelings cloud my judgment. Too much is at stake.
Your Highness, I think you should meet with the Emperor and at least try to talk to her. If there's any hope of ending this war without more bloodshed, we have to try. Besides, killing your own family, I'm sorry, but it's not right.
I think so too. And you are right that we should at least try.
I see. So my uncle's defeat is beyond doubt?
Yes, Your Majesty. I have confirmed it via countless channels. I advise that we accept this as a drop of joy amid a pool of sorrow.
Pretty words, but I'm afraid we can't rest until the joy outweighs the sorrow. And for that to happen, it now seems we must confront them all at once. Dimitri, who took back Ferdiad, Claude, who managed to protect the Alliance, and that professor, who is successfully mobilizing the Knights of Seros.
What will you do, Your Majesty?
Pull back our forces. In the west to Arian Road, in the east to...
Fort Mercius, I presume. There is no better place for such a confrontation, after all.
Indeed. And dispatch the Death Knight to guard it. He can buy us some time. In the meantime, I will...
Forgive me, but I must speak bluntly. I do not agree with what you intend to do. Though slight, There is a chance that once done, it cannot be undone.
Even I cannot always choose the direction my path leads me. There is no other way. And so, I must walk on.
We will finally have our decisive battle with the Empire this month.
The Eastern Lords are in the process of consolidating all of the troops within the entire kingdom. There are still some lords in the West who side with the Empire, but I believe it is only a matter of time before they surrender.
Affairs within the kingdom have calmed down considerably, and we even managed to win over the Alliance.
Although it was a rough go at first, I'm starting to feel like we could actually win this.
That's true. Thinking back on it now, we've really come a long way.
We even have a lead as to where Rhea is located. It is as we predicted all along. If we are to rescue Rhea, then we must defeat the Emperor.
If we're going to march from the monastery to Inbar, then we'll have to cross the Great Bridge of Myrden again, right?
Yes, I believe so. As we have gained the Alliance's support, we should not have any trouble this time. After the bridge, we can cross Gronder Field and head south. And then we'll take Mercius, the so-called impregnable fortress that towers on the other side.
Fort Mercius is praised as the strongest in the Empire. Count Burgleys, the Empire's Minister of Military Affairs, once had troops stationed there. But according to our spies, a large-scale military force has entered the stronghold. Perhaps they are gathering soldiers from various regions to compensate for their losses.
It is unlike you to worry so. But I feel we have no choice but to strip that place of its impregnable reputation. Once we take Fort Mercius, Enbar will be within reach. This is the Empire's last chance to stop us from arriving at our goal.
In other words, if we take this fort, then our blades will be at the Emperor's throat in no time.
If this is the last fort between us and them, then the Emperor will likely do everything she can to strengthen its defenses.
I just received a report on that very subject. The one commanding the troops stationed at Fort Mercius is someone we have crossed blades with many times. It is the Death Knight who awaits us there. Fort Mercius. Said to rival Arianrode, the Silver Maiden. Perhaps a head-on siege was a foolish plan after all.
No, you're right that it's the only way. I don't think the Death Knight would have fallen for any tricks. Even if they are denied supplies, they could hold a fortress like this for months. And we cannot discount the possibility that they will receive more reinforcements if our siege is delayed.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. And we have no option but to do the best we can. Say, Professor, in the past, it seemed like the Death Knight took some strange satisfaction from his fights with you. He's an unpredictable opponent, a dangerous one. Please proceed with caution. I have not come this far just to lose you here. I'm serious. Do not be reckless out there.
That man approaches.
They broke through the gates. Guess it's time for an impressive counterattack.
How did I get tangled up in all of this?
You are finally here. Will Death's scythe claim you? Or will I fall to that sword of yours? And Mercedes, here you are as well.
Your Highness, our capture of the fortress is complete.
Now the path to the Imperial capital is finally open to us. Once we have finished cleaning up after the battle, let's have another meeting to discuss our next move. Naturally, but it matters not. Consider this. Once this war is over, the mountain of official business on my plate will be even taller. If I can't handle at least this much, how will I...
Pardon the interruption. We've just received a letter from Margrave Gautier.
Very well. I will read it at once. see. It seems the conflict within Fargus has at last come to an end.
Yes, Your Highness. Margrave and the other Eastern Lords are at the center of it, and are gathering the Kingdom's military forces even now. They intend to join with the Alliance army, and send troops and supplies to the monastery.
What do you know? My old man is really pulling his weight. Did he seem well?
Yes, as well as can be expected. He has taken it upon himself to bring order back to our troubled territory, while His Highness is away.
I am truly in the Margrave's debt. I will be sure to thank him properly at first opportunity. Thank you for the information. Now tell me, did it seem to you that my presence was needed back at the monastery?
Well, I do have a verbal message from the Margrave on the subject.
A verbal message? How strange.
The other day, he arrested one of Viscount Kleiman's men. And, well, the prisoner has claimed involvement in the tragedy of Duscur. He has implicated his lord as well.
Go on.
I was told they would be transporting this man to the monastery, along with the troops and supplies. The Margrave said that regardless of the credibility of the man's testimony, how he should be dealt with was your decision alone, Your Highness.
Very well. All that considered, I will return to the monastery at once. Will you come with me, Professor? Thank you.
Ah, there you are. His Highness was looking for you. He's gone ahead and started interrogating the prisoner, Viscount Kleiman's man. He said he'd like for you and I to be present as well. Will you come with me?
I cannot overlook your reckless remarks. Are you really so keen to lose your head?
I only did what I believed was right. I swear to the goddess that I'm not lying. Amidst the turmoil of the tragedy, Lady Patricia was supposed to be the only one who was unharmed. We had been given orders ahead of time to not approach her carriage.
Of course not. What would my stepmother have had to gain from such a...
Perhaps Lady Patricia would have done anything to return to the Empire, to her husband and daughter.
What exactly are you implying?
For the past few months, I've been spying on lords who defected to the Empire in order to investigate rumors about Lady Patricia. Cornelia's words were true. The two of them, I am afraid they conspired together after all.
Enough of this nonsense! You say she wished to return home? That isn't nearly enough reason to cause such a tragedy.
I do not intend to imply that the two of them were solely responsible for the whole affair. They were likely nobles who opposed the king, or potentially someone who wanted to throw the kingdom into chaos. The Empire, and people like Solon and Kranya had their motives too.
So my stepmother joined with them to cause the tragedy. Is that what you believe?
Ultimately, this is just conjecture based on the evidence at hand. I have no idea what their true intentions were.
I see. We will hear what this man has to say. For now.
My lord had long felt that King Lambert's radical ways were dangerous. At the time, he was approached with an offer to take part in the incident at Duscur. My lord loves his homeland. To me, he embodied justice. We were only doing what we thought was right.
And so, in the name of justice, he caused massacre upon massacre out of love for his homeland. You murdered your own king, killed our soldiers, and involved innocent citizens. And yet you have the gall to speak of justice!
I am only standing before you now, because I could no longer bear the weight of my sins. No, I accept your hatred, and even the punishment of death, but I still believe it was a massacre in the name of justice.
Gilbert, lock this man in his cell.
Are you not going to kill him?
I will make that decision once I have had time to consider this man's definition of justice.
Yes, Your Highness.
No, I cannot say that I am. Tell me, Professor, how well do you remember your father, Geralt? Soon enough, you will come to understand how painful it is to forget the faces of those who have passed on. To be honest, I cannot really remember my stepmother's... that woman's smile, nor the sound of her voice. I always told myself that I would not allow my mind to forget, and yet, all I can recall with clarity is her gazing away, so forlorn. Did my stepmother wish to go home so badly that she would kill Father and me? Kill her false family? Home, to her own blood. Her true family. I suppose it doesn't make any difference now. I am asking you questions you could not possibly know the answer to. I am finished with thoughts like that. I am finally able to go on living without clinging to hate. If I truly treasure those who have died, then I must earnestly atone for my sins. Father, Glenn, all of the soldiers who have fallen, the people of Duscur who still suffer persecution. The only atonement I can offer them now is to take responsibility for this broken kingdom that has been entrusted to me. That is why I feel that I must meet with Edelgard and try to talk to her. Do you think it is a fool's errand? Honestly, I think so too. But I must swallow my feelings and grudges, our whole history really, and ask her about this future that she sees. What she aims for once her domination is complete. What kind of justice she clings to as she fights. And why she felt it necessary to start this war. I believe that asking her these things is the true responsibility I have been tasked with as king. We will march our troops to the Imperial capital. But before any battle begins, we will set up camp nearby and send a messenger. I will tell her that I need to speak with her in a safe place, without any weapons or troops. As to whether or not she will agree to my request, well, that rests solely on Edelgard. I would like to believe that as well. You know, Professor, when we fought in Ferdiad, Cornelia mocked me and called me pitiful. But even if it is true that my stepmother never loved me, I am not to be pitied. After all, I have allies and dear friends who care for me. And now, I also have you by my side. Professor, do you think Edelgard will show up?
Well, well. It's been a long time, Professor. And hello to you too, Dimitri.
Edelgard, I did not think you would actually accept my request.
Call it a win. Well then, what did you want to talk about?
I will get straight to the point. Why did you start this war? There had to be a way to change things in your territory without the need for so many senseless casualties.
It may be hard to believe, but this is the way that leads to the fewest casualties in the end. Don't you see?
How could I? Countless people have already lost their lives in this conflict.
The longer we took to revolt, the more victims this crooked world would have claimed. I weighed the victims of war against the victims of the world as it is now, and I chose the former. I believe that I have chosen the best path, the only path.
Even after seeing the faces of those who have suffered the ravages of war, you would still force them to throw their lives away for the future? You are obsessively devoted to this war, and deaf to the screams of its victims. You cannot change the cycle of the strong dominating the weak with a method like that.
You're wrong. That very cycle is exactly what I have devoted my life and my power to destroying. If after all of this, you believe the weak will still be weak, that is only because they are too used to relying on others instead of on themselves.
Yes, perhaps someone as strong as you are can claim something like that. But you cannot force that belief onto others. People aren't as strong as you think they are. There are those who cannot live without their faith.
and those who cannot go on once they have lost their reason for living. Your path will not be able to save them. It is the path of the strong, and so it could only benefit the strong.
So you consider me strong, do you? Even if one clings to their faith, the goddess will never answer them. Countless souls will be lost that way, living without purpose. And I can be counted among those who have died that way as well. But that's why I must change this world, on behalf of the silent and weak.
And do you intend to become a goddess yourself? Will you steal the power to take action from the broken-hearted masses you claim to defend? The ones who can truly change the way of the world are not the rulers, but the people. Pushing your own sense of justice and your own ideals onto even one other person is nothing more than self-righteousness.
Maybe it is self-righteousness, but it doesn't matter. Someone has to take action and put a stop to this world's endless, blood-stained history.
Do you not believe in the power of the people to join together and rise up? Humans are weak creatures, but they are also creatures who help each other, support each other, and together find the right path. I have learned that humans are capable of all that from the Professor, and from everyone in my life.
I doubt a highborn person like yourself could know how the poor feel or what motivates them. This is nonsense, though I'm finally starting to understand how you feel. But that makes it even clearer to me that we can never fully understand each other.
I feel the same. I finally understand what you believe is right.
Goodbye, Dimitri.
Wait, Edelgard. There is something I must give you. This is for you. Use it to cut a path to the future you wish for. And I will rise up to meet you there. Elle?
Elle! So it's true. You're really going away? Going back home?
There's nothing I can do about it. It's all happening so fast. I'm as surprised as you are.
Elle. Here. I want you to have this. Elle, listen to me. No matter how hard things get, you can't give in, okay? You've got to cut a path to the future you wish for, no matter what.
It's a dagger? Why would you give me something like this?
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't think of anything better to give you.
Edelgard, what are you doing? It's time to go. Hurry and get in the carriage.
Oh, I'm sorry, Uncle. I have to go now.
I remember now. You gave me a dagger all those years ago.
I'm still sorry about that. I should have given you something that would have made you happier.
Perhaps. At the time, I was quite flustered by such a dangerous gift. I left without giving you a proper response, and that was the last time we saw each other.
True. It is a sweet memory, with a bitter ending.
I'm afraid it will do no good to reminisce, Dimitri. That girl you knew back then is gone, as good as dead. But I'll tell you now what I wasn't able to tell you back then. Thank you, my dear forgotten friend. Because of you, I never lost my heart. As for the future, that will be decided in battle. King of Fargus, as the Emperor, I shall await your arrival in Inbar.
Send your platoons to capture Enbar. There is to be no needless killing or pillaging. Understand?
Yes, Your Highness.
Edelgard awaits us. We will advance our main forces straight to the palace. Yes, it has truly been a long war. We have only made it this far because of you. Actually, no. I will save that sentiment for after we win this battle. We will advance our troops and confront her. We must strike down the Emperor and end this war.
My life is yours, Your Highness.
Let's win this and go back home in victory. I'll do the very best I can.
On my honor as a knight, I will not lose.
I know the goddess is watching over us. Let's be sure to return home safely. All of us.
As a citizen of Fargus, I will fight with everything I have.
Is this what a do-or-die situation looks like? You would best give it your all too, General.
The path to the Emperor is open. Fulfill your duty as our king.
Yes. I will... No. We will win this. Together. Everyone, move out!
The time has nearly come.
Yes, the anomaly should present itself shortly. However...
There's no reason to fret. Besides, it's far too late to second guess. Now, assume your position. I can't promise your safety if you remain here.
Very well.
Ugh. This pain is nothing, compared to what I have already suffered.
We have annihilated Enbar's army. If we strike her down now, this war will finally be over. I imagine she intends to keep fighting until the bitter end. If this is the end she has chosen, it is my responsibility to see it through with her. Isn't that so, Emperor of Adrestia? We have no choice but to destroy each other. Such is the destiny we were born to. That is why I will now rise up to answer her iron will with the bite of my lance.
I will protect you at all costs. We will both live to see tomorrow. Your Majesty.
If the king falls here, that would mean my father's and brother's deaths were in vain.
Fortunato, Kristoff, everyone, I will not lose.
Well, if I were to die now, I'd have a lot to explain to my brother.
All will be okay. I know we can win.
I won't falter, no matter who we're facing.
For all those who have lost their lives in this war, we cannot lose.
It is time. Onward to our final battle!
They are here, but my progress cannot be stopped, no matter how many people try. The war's end will spell destruction for one of us. There can only be one ruler of the world.